In the last video you watched me plasterboard all our utility room. I've now plastered all the outside, but today I'm moving on to the plastering. So I'm not going to do a full tutorial because I've already done that before, but obviously I'll show the process. I'm in the room now and I'm going to start with the ceiling. I've got the whole room to plaster. First thing I'm going to do before the ceiling though is just to fill all the chases with the bonding. Let that set for a bit and then I can plaster that after. So yeah, that's what I'm going to start with. So before I skim the walls I need to use this thistle bonding over the electrical chases. And obviously before I've done this I've PVA'd the whole chase a few times. So the PVA is really important when you come to plastering. That will basically seal all the dust that's left over in there and also create a good adhesion for when you come to plastering. And obviously taking extra care around the plug sockets, making sure to fill in all the voids just to avoid any cracking in the future. But as you can tell, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to cover the chases and just get it level with the original wall. And you can also go around again once it starts to set and smooth it off with either a paintbrush or the trowel. This is also a good time to fill in any damage to the other walls as well, like you can see here. This was all damaged plaster which has now been filled. So I've finished bonding in all the chases and any damage that there was to the wall. Now I can move on to skimming the ceiling while that dries. Hopefully at that point the walls will be dry and then I can plaster over that. So it's good practice to start from the top down. That's why I'm starting from the ceiling first and then the walls will come second. And it's always a little bit awkward in room sizes like this just because of how small it is. And also trying to do it yourself just makes it 100 times worse. So if you can get someone to help you, it's always easier. So this is obviously a really small area, but usually on a bigger ceiling you'd want to pick one corner to start with and work your way back from there. And also try not to worry too much around light switches like this just because it can throw you off a little bit, but as long as you get it on the ceiling first and worry about that after, then it tends to be alright.
Say something for when you're editing so it makes you laugh.
So once it's started to set, I always do this with a brush and some water, just go around all the corners and all the edges, and that really helps to smooth it off and clear all the gaps. And if there's one tip I could give, it would be to clean your tools often, just because it helps with smoothing off. And this is what it's looking like after 2 coats on the ceiling and then the 2 walls. And I also went round after it started to set with a clean trowel just to smooth it all off. Okay, so as you can see I've plastered the ceiling and then 2 of the walls. I'm now moving on to the 2 previously plastered walls. For these I have to use PVA to prep the wall. The standard walls I normally do 2 or 3 coats just so it seals everything in. And this is all I'm using, just a roller with some PVA in the bucket. So as I said, I always do a few coats of PVA. I think this one was around a 70-30 mix, and then I tend to do a 50-50 mix after. So after damaging the walls, I didn't really film much of the rest of it just because you get the idea of it. But yeah, it's all plastered now and it looks pretty good. Right, so the room's been fully plastered now. It's starting to dry, so there's not really much else I can do until it's fully dried. So next I'm going to move on to the plumbing work. So I've already started with the first fix plumbing. I need to order something from Amazon just to stack the washing machine and dryer on top of each other. And then once those are in, I can then second fix everything and we'll actually have a room. In the meantime, it wasn't too bad to plaster. It was just a bit awkward because the size of the room kept meaning that every time I'd turn round, I kept knocking what I'd already plastered, damaging the wall, and I had to keep going over it. But yeah, it wasn't the nicest job to do. But yeah, at least it's all done now. So if you are interested in learning how to plaster, I'll link a video below. We've made a couple in the past. But other than that, this was just a little short video of an update of our utility room. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.